Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Listen, we are in dire need of donations to keep these shows running and available for you 24/7. So that means when you're in the car, it's available for you to listen to. Whether you're at work, streaming, playing a game, it's available for you to listen to. Rowing your deed and learning about the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful different topics of Islam. Listen, one of the heaviest deeds that could be placed on your scale on the day of judgment is Sadaqah Jariyah. Yes, I know, I'm trying to build deeds daily. So you can too. So listen, feel free and please, from the bottom of your heart, donate to this wonderful cause, wonderful website and platform to continually push out shows that will benefit you and the Muslim Ummah. Yes, you can donate by going to the Sunnahfollowers.net website, pressing the donate tab. You can also scan the QR code in YouTube on the far left top of our videos that are streaming. Listen, guys, this is very important, and take this as important. We want to keep this programming available for you 24/7 so that you have access in your car, anywhere you choose to tune in to this wonderful programming. Yes, guys, it's all at your disposal. So listen, feel free to donate. Once again, remember, Sadaqah Jariyah, one of the heaviest deeds on your scale on the day of judgment. He was known as the Sword of Allah, one of the greatest generals in history, one of Islam's greatest heroes. His name, Khalid ibn al-Walid. Sunnahfollowers presents a new series presented by Ustad Mukhtar Shahid. Coming soon, so stay tuned. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers. Sunnahfollowers presents a new upcoming class. Stay tuned. Sacred Bonds by Daryl Abdullah Kirk. Yes, Sacred Bonds, navigating the depths of Muslim matrimony and the family. You don't want to miss this one. Please stay tuned. Streaming on all major platforms right here on Sunnahfollowers.net.
It's a prison, living in this dunya, to the believer. It's a prison, living in this dunya, to the believer. It's a prison.
Join us every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Access to Layla Live call-in and answer show. Please join Ustada Layla Nashiba if you have any questions in regards to this theme. Call in at 862-370-2838. Now streaming on various platforms right here on Sunnahfollowers.
He said, pray as you see me pray. Utter these words that you hear me say. Based on the Sunnah, worship Him, just follow Him.
And he scores! Dang. Wait, is that the Adhan?
I think so, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, man.
Well,
gotta pray.
Yeah, we do gotta pray. We gotta pray. Let's get that in.
Yes, sir.
ASAP.
Ha ha!
I don't know
Allahu
what it
Akbar.
is, but what? You know, I've been listening to this program, Sunnahfollowers, and I've been learning a lot, Aki. Man, a lot.
Yeah, like what? What you been learning about?
Man, I've been learning about a lot. Salah, hadith, the life of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Man,
Wow, for real though.
And you know another thing? the shows just keep come on back to back.
Alhamdulillah. I just gotta check them out.
For real though.
Yo.
Wow. My God, if you have any questions, check this out. Every Friday, you can call in Sister Layla live. Call her with any one of your questions in regards to this deen. And man, she will answer them. She will get you right. Anyway, inshallah, I'm about to tune into that. But you know something else? You know, if this is going to be a benefit to me, I got to get with that Sadaqah Jariyah.
All right. Donate to Sunnahfollowers.net. We're here for you. Sadaqah Jariyah. Assalamu alaikum.
Ask Sister Layla live. Sister Layla live. Weekly for the show at the hour. Ask Sister Layla live. Sister Layla invite your friends and family. Make it cozy. Ask Sister Layla. Know your Lord. We learn about His names and His attributes. Know your Lord.
Know Your Lord, part of the Right Belief series by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid, right here on Sunnahfollowers. Being taught by Ustada Layla Nashiba as she lays down the foundations to get you together. Learn about your Lord. Know your Lord. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers. Assalamu alaikum. Get to know your Lord. First part of the Right Belief series by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. This dynamic literary work of art's main goal is to revive an understanding the names and attributes of Allah. And understanding the name and attributes of Allah will elevate our faith, strengthen us, and keep us steadfast. This wonderful book is now available in an audiobook format and can be found free of charge on YouTube, channel Kareem Abu Zaid. Get to know your Lord. You have nothing to lose.
I'm sorry, guys. Ina alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our first class for tonight, which is the Aqidah class. And hold on, let me change the background. I'm sorry, forgot. And for those of you who have not yet purchased the book, because I'm getting new people every day, alhamdulillah. A lot of the people on Reddit are sending people to my channel. So for those of you who are new, for this class, this is the book you need to purchase. It's called Know Your Lord. This book is written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. A lot of people ask me, why do I have Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid's picture in the background? I'm going to tell you why. It's very important. It's very important as to why I got his picture here. It's important because we're living in the days of fitan. These are the days in which the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said Islam will become strange. Islam will become distorted. How the people will deviate away from understanding Islam the way those companions did. So you have to know who you're learning from. You have to know who you're taking your knowledge of Islam from. That's why I'm on video camera. Oh, I'm not new to the scene. I've been on the Dawah scene since 1986, but I never used video until 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago that I started, letting myself be seen publicly on a camera. I would always just use the PowerPoint and my voice, that so many of you claim to be terrified of my voice. Oh, she's scary. I'm scared of her. Boy, y'all better grow up and get a life. Okay. So it wasn't until 3 or 4 years ago I started using camera, because as my teacher, Sheikh Morsi, may Allah forgive him of his sins, and may Allah bless him with a long life, because when he's gone, I don't know who I don't know no other scholars. He's a real scholar, the real McCoy, not the wannabe fake bladed ones made up by Americans. He's a real one. When he's gone, I don't know who's left, because his friends are all gone. Bonnie's gone. Sheikh Ben Baz is gone. Uthaymin's gone. Those were his friends. Karadari is gone. Umar al-Eshkar is gone. They're all gone. So subhanallah, I don't know who. There ain't nobody to replace them. Just like can't nobody replace those ones I just mentioned either. So, but anyway, he was one that told me, Sister Layla, these are the days of fitan. The people need to see who you are. You've been teaching, giving dawahs for over 30 years on the internet. The people need to know who you are, how you look, so you can leave your legacy of work behind you. So that's when I started using the camera 3 years ago. Dr. Sheikh Morsi, and then Dr. Dramali. He did the same thing. He called me because I was going through a rough time back then. And he said, get up and get on the internet and start back to teaching. Okay. So, we have to know who we're taking our knowledge of Islam from, because these are some trying times. So that's why I use his picture. Just like when I advertise Sheikh Atli's books, I'll put Sheikh Atli's books on them. I put Dramali's book pictures on his stuff. You guys need to know who you are receiving your knowledge of Islam from, because most of you're learning Islam from off the internet, from Sheikh Google, and from these wannabe scholars on YouTube, and y'all don't know anything about these people. They don't know you. You don't know them. Okay, you have no personal, intimate relationship with any of them. That's the reality. Those are the days that we're living in. So we need to get to know who we're learning from. So this is the book for the new Shahadas or the new Muslims that are joining me to learn. Please go to Amazon.com and buy this book. And you want to also buy the children's version, because all of my classes are family oriented and the children participate too. Your children ages 6 up should be participating in all my classes too. And he has the children's version of this book. It's called Sharing, Know Your Lord and Sharing Islam. It's the children's version. It's 300 and something pages, the same information. It's just condensed a little more, and so the kids can understand, and the kids can read their book and follow along with me and answer the questions that's in the back of at the end of the chapter of the book too for them. So get this book. Okay, and what we've been discussing for the past couple of weeks are the names and attributes of Allah. And for the past week, I've keyed in on Allah's attributes, because many of you as Muslims, have a hard time understanding Allah's attributes. A lot of you make up attributes for Allah that don't really exist. I'll give you an example. Holy. Allah, that's not one of Allah's names or attributes. Okay. And we've been speaking about that. We have to call upon Allah using the names that he's given himself and he's told us about, or that our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us about. We can't make them up. And with the attributes, we don't make up attributes that don't belong to him either. And just before I get into this topic tonight, Who can tell me what's the difference between Allah's names and his attributes? What's the difference between a name and an attribute? Can anyone tell me? Yeah,
From my understanding, I would say that a name is just, the title, and then the attribute is maybe like what you do, or I'm trying to figure out the best way to say
it. Okay. She started y'all off. She got your minds thinking. Who can finish what she's saying or reword it? She's on the right track. What's the difference between Allah's name and Allah's attributes? Anyone else?
The difference is his name. The names for Allah is his worth, his essence, his being, and the attributes are the actions, the things that he does.
Exactly. That's what she's trying to say. Good job, Latifah. Latifah's a teacher, so she knows how to come back with it. You know. Huh? What you say, Latifah?
I didn't say anything. I thought that was Anissa.
Anissa, what you got to say? Let's hear from Anissa.
No, Latifah said, but I was going to say that was Nia. I think Nia says, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, it was Nia.
Oh, it was Nia. Okay.
Yeah, I was keeping quiet, waiting on somebody to come in. If Latifah hadn't said anything,
you did the right thing.
Yeah, I would have come in.
Yeah, Nisa knows the answer, and I don't want her to keep answering every day. Good job. And I see what Mina, good job, Nia, too. But I see what Mina typed. She says, okay, she said the names refer to himself. Exactly. That's another way of wording it. The names of Allah he's telling us about himself. His character, I mean, well, like we would say character, he's telling us of himself, of him. And the attributes refers to the power he has. The actions, like you guys said, actions was the perfect word. Actions, the things he's capable of doing. So the names describe himself. Whereas the attributes tell you what he's capable of. Good job. And so we've been, the names are pretty easy to figure out. But what we struggle with as Muslims, I notice as a daya, are the attributes. And we spoke the last time we met how the attributes of Allah can be of three different categories. Who can remember what those three categories are? Well, if you guys remember the two, I'll tell you the third if you can't remember. Okay, what are the categories of Allah's attributes? We put Allah's attributes in three categories. Can anybody tell me what those three categories are that'll help you to understand the difference? Attributes that entail what? Okay, good job, Edward. Good job, Amy. Good job, Sandra. Good job, Bethany. Good job, Elizabeth. Good job, Mina. Exactly. Good job, Ibrahim. Good job. Okay, you guys are getting it right. But one category are attributes that describe Allah's nature or essence. Nature or essence. Then what's another category of his attributes? Is it his will? No. Good job, Edward. The second category are attributes that describe his actions. His actions. And then we have a third category, which are both. There are attributes that fall in the categories of both of them. They fall in both categories. It can be an attribute that's of action and his nature. Okay? But when it comes, Huh?
His power.
Yeah, that's what the attributes of actions are. Exactly. Okay, that's the attributes of action. Now, when we talk about Allah's attributes of actions, we talked the last time we met about how they always connect to another aspect of himself. What is it? All attributes of Allah's action connects to what about himself?
Allah's will.
Okay, do you guys agree with her answer? Does anybody disagree?
I agree.
Good job. Exactly. And this is where the Muslims lose it. As we talked about, I focused on that last week. Why is it that Muslims are disobeying Allah? Why is it that so many Muslims around the world are transgressing Allah's limits? Because they don't understand that Allah's actions connect to his will. Okay? If we truly understood that, we wouldn't be voting in elections. I don't hear no other daya speaking about the haramity of the voting in elections but me. I guess these brothers are afraid to speak the truth about Islam. But I don't fear nobody but Allah. Hello. If they understood how his actions connect to his divine will, then they wouldn't be making all these terrible sins that we're doing today. Like voting for kafirs, befriending kafirs to the level where we are becoming intimate with them, where we have intimate relations. When Allah tells us in the Quran to do al-bara, we're no longer implementing al-bara when it comes to our interactions with the non-Muslims and all of that. So Allah's actions connect to his will. And then last week, we talked about how once a person does understand the names of Allah and his attributes, that's when you can finally get a grasp on the lordship of Allah, Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. But once Shaytan sees that you are now getting a grasp upon of the nature of understanding the lordship of Allah, Shaytan will then come to you and try to get you to question Allah's names. He'll try to get you to question Allah's attributes because he knows it's going to take you backwards. That's going to take you back. Everybody understand that? And we're going to speak more about that today. That's going to be our topic today, how to overcome these questions that many of you are now going to get because you all now understand Allah's names and his attributes. I had one student do it yesterday. I had another student do it the day before. That's why I'm so glad I'm talking about it today. When your personal jinn see that you are now finally understanding the names and attributes of Allah and their place, and as a result, you are in submission. You are in submission. You are in submission. That means Muslim. Muslim is an Arabic word that means one who submits. You are now a person who submits to his lordship. That means you are now a true Muslim. When your jinn see that, he's going to put waz. He's going to whisper into your heart and try to pull you back to what you were believing before. by questioning Allah. So that's what we're going to talk about today, how to protect ourselves from that when it happens, because it's going to happen. I've already seen it happening to some of my students, but I'll quickly remind them what to do to correct it, and they do. Okay? But let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen, and I do have another quiz. I'm not done with this quiz. Yes, on Fridays, I make the quizzes more intense. Oh, yeah, because it's me. And I'm usually just, it's just me today. And I'm wrapping up, I try to wrap up my weekly discussions on Friday. You guys haven't realized that. So let's put the PowerPoint up. There it is. Yes, the brother here is asking me, did I put some shorts out? Yes, guys, my class yesterday on the Meccosidic Tafsir, the book written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid, the class I gave you guys on how to reap the benefit of a surah. I put out 4 shorts from me. I just posted them before this class. You can go to my YouTube channel, click on the tab that says shorts, and you will see them. They're also on Facebook, on Instagram, on Reddit, and on Twitter. Okay. Yeah, I've made 4 shorts of the 4 things you need to remember when it comes to trying to understand a surah when you read a surah. Yeah. Okay. Tonight, we're going to be covering pages 174 through 177 of the book, Know Your Lord. And this is a picture of the children's version. This is the adult version here. And then next to it is the children's version. They look the same. And they're both on Amazon. Please buy them both. The adult book is $19.99. The children's book is $24. Okay. The children's book is over 300 pages. You already know that the adult book is over 400. So they're worth the money. Please buy them both. They should be a part of your library because these books, this whole trilogy, this whole series of Aqidah is now part of our Sunnahfollowers online curriculum, which means I'm going to teach it over and over and over and over again. Okay. So today we're going to speak about how to refute those questions that your personal jinn will cause you to ask regarding Allah's attributes, because he doesn't want you to submit to the lordship of Allah. He doesn't want you to truly be a Muslim. And in order to be a Muslim, you have to believe in Allah's lordship. And most Muslims today don't. Believe it or not, they don't. That's why it's going to be more of us in hell than paradise. So let's get started. And again, here's a question I would like to start it off with. Give me an example. We talked about how there's 2 different types of attributes of Allah. Give me an example of an attribute of Allah's essence or nature. Give me an example of something that's an attribute of Allah's nature. An attribute that tells us of Allah's essence or nature. Give me an example. Anybody. There's a lot of different answers. An attribute of Allah's nature.
Could we say Allah's hands?
Good job. That's an easy one. That's an example. Allah tells us he has 2 hands. The fact that Allah has 2 hands, that's an example of an attribute telling us of Allah's essence or nature. Give me another example of an attribute of Allah's nature or essence. Anyone else? Come on, there's so many things.
Allah has eyes.
Okay. The fact that Allah tells us that he has eyes, that's another example of the essence of Allah or his nature. Give me another example. Sister Mina said that Allah is the one who gives. He's the one who gives. Is that an example of an attribute telling us of Allah's essence or nature? What do y'all think? Allah is one who gives. Is that an example?
Yeah, I'd agree.
Exactly. That's an example. That's an example. But what Mina typed, Mina didn't say the one who gives. Mina typed giver. Can I say that giver is an attribute of Allah? Mina.
That sounds like a name.
Exactly, Mina. The fact that you said giver, you made up a name. This is what Shaytan causes you to do. That's haram. That's what takes us out of Islam. We cannot refer to Allah as the giver because that's not a name that he's given himself. But what you can say is that Allah is the one who gives. He's the one who gives. That's an attribute. But if you call him the giver of what? That is not an attribute of Allah. We can't make up stuff like that. And this is what Sufis do all the time.
So instead of the destroyer, it would be the one who destroys?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. When you say the destroyer, now you've given Allah a name. Is that a name that he's given himself? No. Let me teach you guys an English trick that y'all should have learned in the 5th grade. Whenever you take a word and put ER at the end of it, it now has become a noun, and a noun is a name. So you have to be careful with that. So Sister Mina, give me another example because I want to make sure that you never do that again. Give me another example, Mina, of an attribute of Allah's essence or nature. Okay, we have one of the Christians here. Don't ban him, guys, because he's just one of the Christians that participates. Wait a minute, let me go back. I hit the wrong mouse. Let me give y'all his answer. Y'all didn't ban him, did y'all? I don't want y'all to be ban-handled crazy. He gave me one, legendary Lee Kennedy. Is that an attribute? No. You need to join the next. You missed the class I did the other day, Relish. Yeah, make sure nobody in there did. Because I do have some Christians coming in here that try to learn. He wasn't here for the other class, so he just don't know. No. Okay. All right. Give me another example of an attribute of Allah's essence or nature. Let's see what we got here. I'm looking at these other answers on these other programs. Oh, let me see. Yeah. Giver is not what we supposed to do. Let's see. What else we got here? Okay. Fatima said Allah is passionate. He's passionate. Is that an attribute telling us of Allah's nature? The fact that she said he is passionate. What do y'all think about that answer?
Yes, I agree.
Good job, Fatima. He is passionate. Good job. Allah is passionate. That's an attribute. She didn't make it a name like Mina did. Okay. Let's see what else. Allah loves to forgive. Exactly. Good job, Sakina. That's an attribute. Good job. What else? Give me some more examples of an attribute of Allah's essence. He has feet. Good job. Who wrote that? Good job. That's one of the Christians. Good job. The fact that Allah has feet. You remember that I taught you guys that. Allah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah says the hellfire will not become full until Allah puts his foot on it. Okay, this person here said that's one of the nicest things he learned from me the other day, that Allah will put his foot on it and say, now you fool. Good job. That's an attribute. Okay, give me another example of an attribute of Allah's essence or nature. Anyone else?
Allah is the creator.
Okay, yeah, and that's a name too. But Allah does indeed create. That's not only a name, but it's also an attribute because he does create. Okay? He does create. Good job. What's another one? He's generous. Good job, Akiz. And also the other person here. Good job.
Allah has ears, not like ours, but he hears.
Allah hears. Allah hears. Good job. That's another attribute telling us of his essence or his nature. So, mashallah, I think you guys got it. But what I want y'all to do is to never make it a name that he didn't give himself. Don't ever, in the English language, never put ER at the end of an attribute unless that is a name that Allah has given himself. That's a tip, a trick that I learned when I was a kid about not to do, because I studied English. If you put ER at the end of it, you'd have messed up. And a lot of Americans, English-speaking people do that. That's why y'all need to learn English when y'all in school. I know Americans in general do terrible with English in school. Y'all got to learn your language. Okay, give me another example, Mina. Give me another example of an attribute of Allah's nature or essence, Mina. And don't give me one that's a synonym of what somebody else done said. That's another synonym of what somebody already said. That's why I didn't look at it. Give me another one. What about this? Let me ask you a question, Mina. Can I say that Allah knows everything, that he's all-knowing? Is that an attribute? If I say Allah is all-knowing, is that an attribute? I know that she got some. Okay, yes. So it's no. Let me ask Mina. I want just Mina, y'all, because she's the one that messed up. Okay, so if I say that Allah is all-knowing, that's an attribute? Yes, you're right, Mina. That's an action. And that's also a name. Remember, we talked about the third category. The third category of attributes are those that fall in both categories. The category of action and nature. Exactly. So Allah being the all-knowing, that's an example of that. Good job. What about this, Mina? What if I say, let me think of something. Wait a minute, I gotta think, because I want to make sure you understand this. Let me ask this question, Mina. Is hate an attribute of Allah? Yes or no? Is hate an attribute of Allah, Sister Mina? Okay, yes it is. Good job. What about this? Is the hater an attribute or a name of Allah? Is the hater an attribute or a name of Allah? Allah hates. That's one of his essence or nature. We know Allah hates. Okay, but is he the hater? Is he the hater?
No.
No, I want Mina to answer. Okay, but whoever it was said no. What do you think, Mina? Is he the hater, Mina? Exactly. Do you get it now? Exactly. And the person that answered in Zoom, good job. Oh, and now that's the mistake I don't want y'all to make. But a lot of you come from Sufi backgrounds. Sufis make up these names. Exactly. We never refer to Allah as the hater, even though he does hate some things. Allah tells us in the Quran that he hates everything that he made haram. Allah tells us that he hates everything that he made haram. So that is one of an attribute that describes, something of his nature. But do we call him the hater? No. Do we call him the one who hates? No. No. We have to be careful of that. Good job, Nia, too. Nia, you did good, too. So does everybody else understand that? Nia, that was you that gave the answers in the Zoom, right? Nia?
Yes, ma'am.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
Struggling the same as the other sister, so yes, that was me.
Good job.
I'm sorry.
You did good, because I was going to ask you too. You got it. You and her both got it. Now, what about Layla? Is Layla in that Zoom room? Remember, Layla had a problem with this too. Is Layla here today?
No, she's not.
Okay, well, mashallah, I think you two got it together. Yeah, and that's just a little trick with the English language. Don't put ER at the end unless he gives him the ER. I'm teaching y'all my little secrets I had to learn when I was a kid, when I was being taught the Aqidah. Okay, here's another question. What about this? Give me an example of an attribute of Allah's action. These are easy. The hard ones, y'all did good. That was the first question. It's harder to give them of his nature than it is this. Give me an example of an attribute of Allah's action. Come on, guys. Y'all should be able to make up a bunch of these.
He is the one who speaks.
Exactly. We talked about speech. That's an attribute of Allah's action. Allah speaks. The proof is the Quran. The Quran are the words of Allah. It's the words of Allah. It's not a creation of Allah. I don't want any of you thinking that the Quran is a creation of Allah, because it is not a creation of Allah. It's the speech of Allah, the words of Allah, given to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to convey to us. Give me another example of Allah's action. Give me another example.
The source of good?
Say it again.
The source of good?
That's good. That's good. The source of good. Yeah, because good is an action. Giving good is an action. That's an action verb. Okay, good job. What's another example of Allah's action? That was good. Whoever gave that answer, that was great. You thought outside the box. That's what I like to hear. Answers like that. Good job, Sakina. That shows she ain't memorizing what I'm saying. Instead, she's understanding. Remember, the Prophet Muhammad said the difference between knowledge and understanding is this. Knowledge is when you mimic and memorize. Understanding is when it's in your heart and you pull it out of there like she did. She came out the box. That shows me as a teacher that she understands this topic now. Okay? Okay, what's another example of Allah's attribute of action? Descending. He descends to the lowest heaven every night. Good job, Sakina. That's an example. He heals. He heals. Good job. That's thinking outside the box too. Geechee. That's thinking outside the box too. That lets me know that Geechee is not memorizing. She understands because she pulled it out of her heart. She didn't just mimic something that I said in another class. Okay, he provides. He protects. Good job, Pamela. Okay. Hearing. Oh, good job. That's action too. Pamela, she's speaking from her heart too. She's showing me that she's not just memorizing or mimicking what I say. She's giving her own answers. Good job, Pamela. You understand this. Huh? Go ahead.
The expediting.
Yes, that's an action too. That's another example of his action too. He's quick. Allah's quick. He's quick in what he does. Good job. That's an action. He sustains. Good job, Akiz. Destroy. He can destroy. Good job. He protects. Good job. You guys got it. And I like the answers you were giving because the answers you guys are giving are showing me that I did a good job teaching this to you because you're not imitating me. You're not mimicking what I said. His rising. Good job, Fatima. How he gives strength. Good job, Sakina. The fact that he gives strength, that's an action. An attribute of action too. He gives. Okay. Okay. Abdul Shakur. He said Allah, El Razak. Is that an example of Allah's attributes of actions? The provider. That means the provider. Is this an attribute of Allah's action? What do y'all think? His answer, the provider. Mina? Mina, is this an example of Allah's attribute? The provider. Anybody else? Why not?
Because that's a part of who he is, the provider.
Exactly. This answer is wrong, Brother Abdul Shakur, because this is not Allah's attribute. This is his name. This is a name of Allah. Okay, his name. When you put ER, that's the trick I taught y'all. Don't ever put ER at the end of an attribute, because now you've turned it into a name. I'm not asking for a name. I'm asking for an attribute of action. Good job. Y'all see that? So the Nia, you see that little trick I learned as a kid? I learned that when I was 10 years old. Yeah. All right. It's part of its nature, exactly. But when you put ER, you've made it a name. I want y'all to focus on the attributes, not the names right now. Okay. All right. Let's look at y'all did a good job. Y'all did real good with this too. That means you guys are getting it. You guys have got it. What about this? I think I got another question. Yeah, here's another question. Now, we talked about how, like many of you, most of you now understand. Most of you are understanding the difference between Allah's names and his attributes. Most of you now understand that Allah's attributes can be actions, or they can even talk about or tell us about his nature. Once you understand Allah's names and attributes, this will cause you to submit to his lordship. And what does the word Muslim mean? Muslim is an Arabic word that means one who submits. So now that most all of you are people who are in submission to Allah, what's going to happen? What happened to you the other day, Aya? You asked a question that I told you never asked, remember? What happened to you, Sister Pamela? You asked something too. This is normal. I've done it too. Once we are in submission to the lordship of Allah, our personal jinn will try to get us to ask questions that we shouldn't ask about Allah's attributes or his essence or nature. Give me an example of a question that your personal jinn will try to get you to ask about Allah's attributes of essence or nature. Come on, guys.
Will Allah forgive you?
That too. That's one that's really outside the box. Good job. A lot of us Muslims doubt whether Allah will indeed forgive us of our sins. Nia, you got this. This is really good, Nia. Exactly. She really got it. It's in her heart. She got that. I would never thought any of y'all would come up with something like that. Look how many of us despair of the mercy of Allah, when mercy and forgiveness are two of his attributes. They're also his names too, okay? But look how many of us despair of Allah's mercy, despair of his forgiveness. So that's a good example of one of the best examples as to how Shaytan will cause you to transgress the limits of Allah, to take you out of submission to him. And whenever we ask that type of question, will Allah forgive me? Will Allah show mercy to me? It puts us backwards. It takes us out of submission. It doesn't make us a kafir, but it takes us out of submission to Allah. Okay, another example. Good job, Nia. Sister Akiz, she said an example is what he looks like. Good job. That's the most common question. How does Allah look? How does he look? What kind of hands does Allah have? What color is Allah? What kind of eyes does he have? We're going to talk about what to do when that happens, because a lot of you, that's happened to you, Brother Edward. The other day, you asked that question too to me. You said, Sister Layla, I'm having a hard time when I make my prayers. Remember you asked me that in the prayer class? You said, I keep imagining that I'm standing before this man and how he looks. You know, and I told you, no, we don't do that. You don't imagine Allah to be like his creation. You don't do that. See how Shaytan, he never sleeps. Our personal jinn will always try to take us back from out of submission to the lordship of Allah. Okay, and Sister Sakina said he will try to get you to put Allah on your level. or the level of another of his creation. Good job, Sister Carol. Carol's outside the box too. Carol said another example of questioning Allah's essence or nature, asking why Allah allowed something to happen. Why did Allah allow this war to happen? Y'all see why I tell you guys most Muslims on earth today are not in submission. They are not in submission to the lordship of Allah. If you one of those Muslims running around going crazy about what's going on in Gaza, I mean, it should bother you. It bothers all of us. But we do everything with dignity and balance. We don't transgress the limits of Allah. We don't go around panicking, acting crazy, asking why Allah is allowing this. Why? Okay? You let your jinn take you out of submission, because remember, Allah's attributes are connected. His attributes of action are connected to his will. To allow something that's action, that's connected to his will. So we never ask why Allah does what he does. We just submit that he did it. And we ask ourselves, what have we done to cause him to do it if it was something bad? And that's what the Muslims around the world should be doing, instead of holding up signs, holding up flags, and protesting. That's not how we do. That's a kafir characteristic. That's what the Romans and the Greeks did. The ancient Romans, the ancient Greeks protested with banners and flags. That's not what we do. We don't protest the qadr of Allah. Okay? But that's what you Muslims around the world are doing. And that's why this war is not going away. If you think that this war is going away, you're crazy. It's spreading because Allah doesn't like that. What we should be doing is turning back to what I'm teaching here, Aqidah. Turning back, like the Prophet said, falling back on Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, the lordship of Allah. Understand that he's in power, he's in control, and he does everything for a reason. Figure out what you did to cause it, what you can do to try to stop it spiritually through your relationship with Allah, because you can't do nothing else. Nothing. If all the creation were to come together to stop the war, they wouldn't be able to raise a finger unless Allah allowed it. Submit to the lordship of Allah. Okay, good job, Carol. So those are examples of some of the questions that Shaytan will try to get you to ask to take you out of submission to Allah's lordship. And then I think this is my last question. Now I want you guys to give me an example of a question that Shaytan will try to get you to ask well, y'all just did it. It's the same question. I just typed it in two different ways. Give me some more examples of attributes of action, of questioning Allah's attributes of actions. Why Allah allows something to happen. Why Allah didn't allow some. Good job, Edward. Like Edward said, it can be the opposite too. It can be the opposite too. Shaitan will cause you to question why Allah didn't allow something to happen. Good job. Why Allah didn't allow me to get that job. Okay, good job, Edward. Does everybody understand this? And this is what we spent last week talking about. I tried to home in on the attributes, because that seemed to be what most of us as Muslims struggle with. That's the aspect of belief in Allah that our prophet said we would struggle with. And that's the lordship of Allah, his actions of lordship, and how they are connected to his will, his qadr. Do y'all understand the meaning of that hadith now? When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, every nation of people has its fire worshipers. The fire worshipers of this nation are those who don't believe in the decree of Allah. Most Muslims don't. They put the power in man. There is no power. There is no might in anything but Allah. Man can do nothing unless Allah wills it. So voting in Kafir elections is not going to change what Allah has willed. Allah willed this war. It ain't going nowhere except to spread further. This is what he willed. And you can vote for all the Kafirs in the world. You can vote for all the homosexuals in the world. No one has the power or the might except Allah. Does everybody understand that? This is what these famous brothers should be teaching, but they're not. Instead, they're playing on your emotions, got you crying, got you sniveling, posting up pictures of dead people, which is another sin in Islam too. The sins just keep mounting up for us, don't they? The sins are mounting up. We're supporting homosexuals. We're trying to appoint kafirs as rulers and leaders over us. We're putting dead people bodies up. We're showing people at their worst when our prophet was clear and said we don't do that. So the sins that we're committing as a nation are just piling up. And you got the nerve to ask why Allah is doing what he's doing. Shame on you. Remember, Allah will never change the condition of a nation or the condition of a people until that nation or that people change the condition of themselves. That's the Quran too. We don't have to say Sadaqallahu Adim. That's innovation. Instead, you need to believe that in your heart and live it. All right, so today we're going to move on, continuing with these attributes. I'm going to tell you what to do. If you're one of those people that do, which all of us fall in this category, because like I said, our personal jinn never sleeps. What's the source? Sahih Bukhari. So one of the companions asked, does a Shaytan ever sleep? And the other companion answered and said, if he did, we wouldn't have to be on guard. Your personal jinn never sleeps. Okay? It's going to always try to take us out of submission to Allah. It's going to cause us to try to contradict his commands and his orders. So what do? Well, again, Shaytan will never abandon his job of misleading you. When we reach the age of puberty, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whenever the son of Adam reaches the age of puberty, a personal jinn is assigned to that person. And that personal jinn hovers around in your heart when you're awake. It knows your strengths. It knows your weaknesses. And it will do everything in its power to try to make you its companion of the hellfire. So he's going to do whatever he can to incite you when it comes to Allah's names and attributes to commit either the sin of negation, which is denying one of Allah's names or denying one of his attributes, or he's going to try to get you to liken Allah liken Allah to his creation, like I was telling Brother Edward the other day. You don't imagine standing before no man, because Allah is not a man. As Aisha radiallahu anha said, Allah is light. He's behind a screen of light. So you imagine that you are standing before a screen of light, something greater than anything and everything behind that light. Okay? No one can see Allah. No one will ever see Allah in this world until the day of judgment. We talked about that. So stop trying to equate Allah to his creation. Stop imagining what he looks like. Okay? Because you're never going to understand it. But Shaytan is what causes you to do that. And also your personal jinn will play on your ego. He'll try to get you to innovate. He'll try to get you to distort the meaning of Allah's names, or to distort and interpreting Allah's attributes. For example, your personal jinn will incite you to believe that Allah's hand of power, when Allah says that he has that Allah has a hand, he will incite you to believe that the hand refers to his power and strength. How many of you have heard that? From a lot of these Sufi brothers y'all listen to, especially from out of Texas, those institutes that they belong to. Okay? They sit there and say, the hand of Allah. When Allah speaks about the hand of Allah in the Quran, he's referring to his power, his strength. That is not true. When Allah refers to the hand, his hand, he's talking about his hand. It's not a metaphor for power or strength. Or they'll take something like the coming of Allah on the day of judgment and say that that refers to the arrival of Allah's laws and commands. Oh yeah, these Sufi brothers, especially the ones from out of Texas, they do it all the time. Okay? Or they'll say that when Allah descends during the last third of the night, he doesn't actually come down to the lowest sky. Instead, he's talking about his mercy. Oh, I just heard a lecture on that. I just heard one of those famous brothers from out of those institutes, talking about Allah's mercy descends down from the lowest heaven every night. Okay? Because he's above his throne. I mean, come on, guys. This is all Iblis. Your personal jinn. Your personal jinn will inspire these distortions and cause you to deviate away from true submission to Allah, to deviate away from true belief in the lordship of Allah, as we see happening today. And also, not only is this a grave sin, but it's also an innovation too. People run the danger of misinterpreting Allah's attributes, because the foundational concept may appear to be pleasing and beautiful. We have to understand, like I was telling you guys earlier when I did the quiz, don't give Allah names and attributes that he doesn't give to himself. We cannot sit there and create our own interpretation of Allah, because we'll never be able to interpret him accurately anyway. Listen to what Allah says in the Quran in the interpretation of the meaning. There are among some of the Jews who pervert the original meanings of the words. They play with their tongues to form false concepts in regards to the religion and to mean we hear and we disobey. Hear, but do not be heard. And they try to be limited in understanding. And if we had said we hear and we obey and hear and watch over us, it would have been better and more correct for them. So here, Allah, we talked about this in our Hasidic Tafsir class yesterday. When you read a chapter of the Quran, we talked about how every chapter has a subject matter, a theme, a topic, and how every verse, not every, but most of the verses in that chapter will relate in some way or form to that topic or that theme. And Allah will use examples, parables, and examples, not parables, parables and examples. Parables and examples to help us to understand whatever the point is he's trying to get to us. And here's an example. The Jews did that. They would add words to what Allah has said and change the original meaning of things. And here we got Muslims doing the same thing, referring to Allah as the deceiver, as the planner, as the plotter, and all of that. That's why I tell y'all, a trick I know in English, don't put ER at the end of a word unless you got a clear nas of that to do so. Okay? So let's answer the question, what do you do? And this is the question that Brother Edward just typed now. Okay, I'm getting there, Brother Edward. And by the way, guys, I don't want you guys to be fanatical. Let me talk about that jinn a little bit more. Because Brother Edward's having a fit over here. Let me talk about this for a second. When your personal jinn hovers around in your heart, he can tell if you're strong or weak in your faith. If he sees that you're strong in your belief, he's going to push you to be a fanatic. He's going to push you to become zealous. He's going to push you to become an extremist. And I don't want you to do that, Brother Edward. You made a mistake. Okay? But guess what? You will never make it again. You be determined to not make it again. Your personal jinn wants you to lose hope because of that one mistake you made. You don't let your jinn succeed. And I'm going to tell you what to do because it might happen again. What do you do? What do you do if your personal jinn tries to get you to liken Allah to his creation, or, to try to figure out how Allah's hands look, or how does Allah rise above his throne? How does Allah come down from his throne? How? Okay, when it comes to the word how, I want you guys to listen to what our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, because again, there's nothing that we're doing today that those original companions haven't already experienced. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, your personal jinn, he comes to one of you and he'll get you he'll say to you, who created so-and-so? Who created so-and-so? Who created so-and-so? Until he'll get you to, he'll ask you who created Allah. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever experiences any of this, if you get these thoughts of who created this, who created that, or how was this created, how was that created, simply say, La ilaha illallah. And that's it. That means I believe in Allah. So, Brother Edward, when you get these thoughts of who created this or who created that, did Allah truly create me? Or did I evolve from out of an ape? When you start getting those type of thoughts, just say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, and then say, La ilaha illallah, and keep it moving. Okay? We have this hadith from Ibn Abbas. He said that the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, reflect deeply upon the creation around us, but do not reflect upon the essence of the Creator. So when you pray, you imagine that you are standing in the presence of an entity greater than anything you can imagine. So because I'm doing that, I'm not going to imagine what that entity looks like. I'm going to remember that Aisha, may Allah be pleased with us, with her, told us that he's behind a screen of light anyway. Okay? So I'm not going to entertain how does he look. I'm not going to entertain how does his throne look. I'm not going to entertain how does his footstool look. I believe in everything Allah told us, such as his throne. I believe that in the angels surrounding the throne and all of that. But I'm not going to question it. Okay? I'm going to reflect deeply upon the creation, but I'm not going to reflect deeply or at all upon the Creator. This is some advice that Ibn Abbas gave his students. But if Shaytan, your personal jinn, succeeds, if he succeeds in causing you to question or think about how Allah looks or any of that, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us what to do and what to say. One of the companions came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said, "O Prophet of Allah, sometimes we find ourselves doing things that's too awful to even speak of, thinking things that's too awful." And the Prophet said, that's a sign. The fact that you do that is a sign that you truly do believe in Allah. So don't lose hope, Brother Edward. The fact that you are wondering how Allah looks, are you standing before him? How is it that he can see you? The fact that you're having those thoughts is a sign that you believe in him. And then the Prophet said, when those type of thoughts come to you, don't panic thinking that you've left Islam. Instead, you simply say, Subhanallah. That's it. That's it. So when you're making salat, guys, and you start imagining or something whispering to you, telling you to imagine how Allah looks, you should say Subhanallah immediately. That means glorified be Allah. That will take those thoughts out of your mind immediately. That will cause your personal jinn to go sit down. Because one thing about your jinn, the jinn are weak. If you mention one word, it'll cause them to run away. And that word is Allah. So say Subhanallah, and those thoughts of how Allah looks, or how Allah is, how you are standing before him, or how he comes down, those thoughts will go away. Also, again, you simply say, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, because again, that'll cause your jinn to go sit down. As Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, said, the Prophet said, the Shaytan comes to one of you and he'll say, who created you? And you'll say, Allah. Then the Shaytan will say, well, who created Allah? He said, when this happens, simply say, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, and he'll go away from you. So you guys see, Islam is beautiful. You know, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not only warned us, Allah not only told us what to be wary of, but also what to do in those cases. So if you find yourself asking how or why, just say, Subhanallah, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, and keep it moving. Keep it moving. It's no biggie. You say that, Brother Edward, and keep it moving. And that's with anything in this religion, guys. If you find yourself asking how or why did Allah send this war? Why is Allah allowing people to die? Why does it seem like Allah has turned his back on us? All that crap that y'all are saying, you stop and say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Subhanallah, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, and that'll set you back straight. We have to follow the advice given to us by our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is nothing that we face today as Muslims that has not already been addressed. Islam has been completed and perfected by Allah. He taught us how to handle ourselves in all situations, including war and hardships. We need to learn what Allah said to do and implement it. And stop running behind these men on the internet who are just playing on your emotions, playing on your anger, who are speaking out the side of their head with no evidence like I'm doing. They have no PowerPoint to prove what they say. They have no hadiths, no Quranic verses, just their tongues moving like a cow chews its cud. Stop listening to these weak, sniveling, womanized men. Disgusting. All right. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Any questions or comments? And I'm proud of y'all. Y'all did good today. Y'all been working on those attributes. I am very proud of you guys. Yeah, any questions or comments?
This was a beautiful class. I needed this reminder. Remember to ask for donations too.
Oh yeah, you did good too, Aya. I think you got it too. Your answers were out of the box too. The way when I see y'all answer like y'all did today, you ain't mimicking me. It's in your heart. And y'all pulling it out. The fitra has been ignited. Alhamdulillah. And by the way, guys, this is Friday. I know. Hold on. You know we got the Q&A show. The call in and ask Sister Layla's. My show is at 9 o'clock. I put the time back to 9 p.m., which is another hour from now. And also, I know a lot of y'all got paid today. Please, guys, we need donations badly. I haven't even checked our account. I'm going to be honest because I've been so busy dealing with my own drama in my personal life, and I don't need any added stress from if we are, girl, don't get me started. You know, it's healthcare time of the year. You know I had to deal with my healthcare with my, girl, please, that's another issue. But I got it together today. But please, guys, I haven't checked our website of what's going on with us because I've been dealing with my healthcare issues with my retiree. I'm a retiree. You know, I don't get Medicaid. You know, how old you got to be? They told me I don't qualify. Latifa, how old you got to be for that? You got to wait till your dad goes 70?
67.
Oh, girl, I'm a long way from 67 years old. I didn't know that. I thought I would finally go into Medicare. You know, they told me I'm too young, so I had to renew my insurance. I got good insurance. I'm through SUMA, but I had to go through all the process. I said, when do I qualify for the free health care plan for the government? They said, I got a long ways to go, I guess. They said, ma'am, you ain't the age. I said, so what I got to do? They said, you got to repick your health care insurance. I'm old enough. They said, ma'am, you ain't near the age. 67, Pamela. Yeah, I work for I'm a retiree from the government. We got to be 67 for the PRS system. Can y'all believe that? You got to be daggone 70 years old to get the free stuff. But they reimbursed me. They told me I got
the free stuff is not all that good either. So be glad you have what you have. That's why I still got my insurance for my job, because I don't feel like dealing with all of that. Yeah, that's crazy, girl. You know, they reimbursing me though. But I told them, I said, but I got to go through this reimbursement crap. I said, I ain't close to 70 yet. Got almost 10 years. Don't be trying to say that. You don't have no 10 years.
How old am I? I'm 63. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 5 years? Darn shame. So I got to pay out my pocket, but they reimburse me, but I still got to pay it myself. Girl, please. But anyway, I've been dealing with my drama. We need donations to support the website, guys. I have not checked to see how much we got in there. Please donate to support us. If you guys like learning Islam in its truthfulness with the correct understanding, which is what those companions had, please support us. We are a 5013C nonprofit organization. Yeah, I'm a retiree from the government, so I get my own retirement check. Y'all's donations go to the website. They don't go in nobody's pocket. They don't go in none of our pockets. Yeah, we all got our own money. We're retirees from the government. Fresno retired from the federal government. Yeah. Fresno. Yeah, she's a retiree from the federal government. I'm a retiree from the state. Hello. So your money don't go in none of our pockets. We got our own money. But the website needs to be supported, guys, because it's a nonprofit. Please support this website. Yeah. Yeah, you can cash out. Yeah, y'all see it on that ticker, Zelle. You can Zelle it at that email address there, or Cash App Sunnahfollowers. Do we even get any Cash App people today? I ain't even checked it. Or you can PayPal. Yeah, PayPal Sunnahfollowers. Let me check that Cash App, because I don't never check this stuff. Sunnahfollowers Cash App. Yeah, they don't. No, ain't nobody on there. Cash App. We just got a PayPal donation. Okay, yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to log out for right now, and I'll be back on in 1 hour at 9 o'clock for the Q&A. I hope y'all got some good questions for the Q&A. Yeah, ain't that nice? That's nice, Sister Sandra, ain't it? Like Sandra said, the good thing about the time change is all the prayers are done. I did my Isha too before this class. Girl, we free. We free. We free. No prayers left. Mm-hmm. You go for it, girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That never gets old either. You a new convert, Sandra. It'll never get old. You'll still like the fact that I'm having all the prayers out the way early. Mm-hmm. Yep. Latifah, did you do your prayers? Girl, it feels weird making Isha at 6 o'clock.
No, I didn't this time.
Oh, I get mine out the way, girl. Y'all see I can let my hair down and everything. If I had a husband, I ain't got no husband, so I ain't got to let down nothing. But girl, yeah, it's time to party, Sandra. You got a man, time to party. Yeah. All right, guys, I'll be back at 9, inshallah. Supana kala huma wa bihamdika sharon la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Let me set up for the Q&A too. Did put the thing out.